Hello, beautiful Taurus. Welcome to Moonrise Cottage for your December 2017 Soul Tarot reading. I'm Mary Ellen. I am clairvoyant. I'm here to channel messages from Spirit utilizing the cards as illustration. I have a couple of quick announcements, just reminders. If you want a personal reading or consultation of any kind, please feel free to contact me. Scroll just below this video. In the description box that YouTube publishes, there's a phrase in gray letters, all caps, it says show more. Click that. That's a tab. And a huge amount of information is just inside the tab. All the descriptions of the readings available, the price list, the PayPal link for reservation, my email's all the way at the bottom. Feel free to contact me, and I'll be in touch with you within a couple of days. Sometimes I'm a little bit backed up because of the volume, but I will get to you. People have been asking me about holiday gifts of readings for loved ones and friends. Of course, that's fine. Again, just click the Show More button and scroll down and send me a message. If you want to participate in the live stream events, please do the same thing. Click the tab, show more. Everything you need to know is right there. The live stream subscription is a way to be able to access the live stream events, including the special Solstice event coming on the 9th of December. So if you would like to participate in that, it is a subscription service. It's only $35 for an entire year. So please go ahead and sign up for that, and I will acknowledge you and let you know that your name is on the list, and you'll get all the notifications going forward about those events. Okay? So Taurus, let's jump in. Gosh, you know, your readings have been so profound coming out of the Passage Tombs. For those of you who don't know, I took a trip, a sacred journey, to the land of my heritage, to Ireland in September and October this year. And the readings actually came out from the Sacred Passage Tombs. I didn't expect that to happen. It was something that evolved, on the wave of the energy, I suppose. I had a different type of journey in mind, but that's what happened. And if you haven't seen those readings, I urge you to go and look at them. These readings build upon each other month to month. So Taurus, your reading from the Null Passage Tomb, information continues to stream through to me about your development, about your shift and change, about your set point. So the readings, there's channeled messages coming through already. The reading for December, of course, is meant to sort of wrap up the year and help you come to a place. The word that's coming is restive. In these days, coming into the solstice. And that was the purpose. I now understand with hindsight. That was the purpose that led me, because Spirit wanted messages to come through from that type of a place for everyone who happens to stumble upon this channel. Your message continues to be one of healing and shift and change. And you spent the entire year in this incredible shamanistically led process of healing and release in Spirit saying subsequent layers of healing and release building upon each other as the year went on in order to prepare you for the moment of the solstice. So if you don't know anything about the Passage Tombs, I'm just going to talk about that briefly. Souls were cremated, put into the Passage Tombs in ceremonial altar bowls, in one of 3 altars that are inside each tomb. Some, the larger tombs, there are more. But there is a cruciform movement around the inside of the tomb, and usually a fairly long, narrow passage aligned with the sun, so that on the day of the solstice, when the sun arises, it illuminates the passageway. And what was revealed to me in those moments was that is the moment when energetically and Spirit saying and philosophically, souls have the ability to move on, to the next phase of their existence and development. So that when a person passed and finished their human lifespan, they were placed in a ceremonial way into the passage tomb to rest. And the Spirit's talking more and more about repair, and that has come out in the cards. You'll see the reading is very much aligned with the readings that came out for October and November. So here in December, we take the last and final step toward that type of release and repair in order to free you to move forward on your soul journey for the Spirit saying the destiny that is meant to come for you, given your strength and your set point and your creative ability, prepared and ready to go forward into 2018 when the emphasis shifts and we begin something new. That's what's coming through to me. There is a new way of being together. It has to do with your energy set point. Spirit's been talking about making a cloak, making a tapestry, utilizing the individual energy set point of all of the astrological signs in order to weave this beautiful tapestry of energy so that it can be utilized here as we walk through our day-to-day life. I'm going to toggle through some photos and show you the cards as we go along. So hang on just one moment. I want to show you the Spirit card that comes right over the top of this reading. This card was on the human line last month. And this idea of being liberated and healing and going through the portal, again, Spirit is speaking very loudly to you through me about the liberation of your soul, your destiny, and your devotion. The full name of this card is the Liberator of Devotion. Isn't it beautiful? Obviously, Spirit's talking about the passageway. We see it depicted here in a beautiful Sheila Nagi depiction of female sacred energy and power. And Spirit saying, utilized here to discuss the continuation of this shamanistic journey where your soul is carried across to its next destiny. And I really love the illustration embodied in this card. Spirit saying that is the energy that lights this reading, that gives it its own pathway. And this month in December, as we approach the solstice, that is the primary message that Spirit wants to speak about, is your liberation, having come through all your shift and change. One more depiction, Spirit says, of the sacred shaman carrying the head in ancient days where the soul was believed to reside through the passage. And the fact that this is a depiction of sacred female energy and the human journey, the way we travel here on the earth into this realm is what Spirit is saying. That is a very, very powerful message coming now right over the top. Last month, your human spirit was moving in this direction. And now it's the message from Spirit. Something more being revealed to you about your movement and your liberation. It's really beautiful. All right, so having been said, the second card is the Liberator. The Balancer of energy. So that is the purpose, and that message has been coming through all year. And here we see you again in female form, female energy, having been split open to pass through your own shift and change and balance your energy in full alignment, Spirit says. And I want to toggle, and would like to show you these two cards together because Spirit, there's message channeling through about that. So give me just a sec. The message coming through about this is that as you go through, so to speak, your journey this month and through the solstice, it is a very important point of energy shift and change and healing for you in general as you move along your pathway. And Spirit's talking about through the passage. So clearly this has to do, again, with the solstice and the liberation of your soul, the liberation of your spirit self here on this plane of existence. And that's the message it was channeling through about, Spirit's talking about not just the spirit journey, but to encourage you and help you understand the depth of your experience as a human actor, a spirit walking in a human form, in order to have complete awareness of your full self. And so that card coming over the top, urging you to understand yourself and how you got here, that you came incarnate into human form for a purpose. And the balancer, actually, it's about harmony. The balancer of energy, the balancer of harmony is said to open the way. So when you see these two cards together, it's a very powerful message. They are both major arcana cards, so a lot of energy and a lot of emphasis, if you will. And it's about living life with integrity so that all your motivations and actions are based on your deep internal truth and functioning and living and feeling yourself, Spirit says, from there. And so, in this depiction, in this pairing, Spirit is saying, it is about receiving what you have worked for, what you deserve, and having been sort of released and vindicated through this process of integrity that you've been on. It's a very powerful message when these two come together right at the center of this reading. Fulfilling the promise that you've been given all year about your destiny and that which is meant to come through your shift and change for 2017. So I want to show you the cards on the human realm. Let's take a look. That's the first one. Look at that. The Augury of Battle. It's a prophecy card. Having been fully transformed into this place of internal knowing, a set point of internal purity, Spirit is saying. Having been cleansed and bathed, those are the words coming through, okay? Through the passage tomb experience. Being led to ponder that by whatever it was that led you to this channel, Spirit is saying. And now standing in this moment, having been, Spirit keeps saying, having been cleansed of that which sought to restrict you internally, you have this set point where you're now able to balance that energy. And just in the moments before you put your hands on the sacred sword, it is a time for Spirit is saying prayer and reflection. So you see how it's the moment before. That's what Spirit always says about this card. The moment before you reach your victory and you are able to wield your internal power. You see how the sword is much bigger than this person? Okay? It takes some time and some preparation to be able to put your hands on the sacred sword. And so going forward into 2018, this is the prophecy. This is the place that your power will bring you to. So as you walk through your days in December, these are the images that help you understand the things that you would be thinking and feeling and dreaming about. Because, the liberation card, the liberation of devotion and the balancer of harmony working together, that brings you to this moment of success. And it takes time to meld yourself with that image, to understand. Well, Spirit's saying all three of these images. As a sacred triad, that's the word that's coming through, interestingly enough. And Spirit's saying, in the religious traditions, there are often notions about a sacred triad. And so that is the message that's coming through. Spirit saying, from the passage tomb, there is a lot of energy in these days. And you can, if it helps you, to imagine yourself in that way as a soul, being brought into that place in the null passage tomb. If you haven't seen the reading for October, go watch it. Spirit says you'll understand more about this if you're new to the channel. As you move through on the solstice, your energy aligned with that actual place, you are preparing to go forward through these moments and then on in 2018 and through the rest of December, feeling something about yourself having shifted and changed and being prepared, taking the steps, Spirit's saying, in this way and knowing the sacredness of this moment. So let's toggle back and show you the cards that have to do with your human walk. I'd like you to see the whole spread as we discuss this. So reaching this moment, you're going very, very deep. When you come through the solstice, Taurus, this month, this is how deep you're going. So the very next card is also a major arcana card. And Spirit's talking the alignment with all of these cards. These first 5 cards are descriptors about how deep you're going this month and how deeply you are going to be stepping into the portal. And Spirit wants me to show you this photo and remind you, if you have not seen the October reading, it's really important to go watch it. So this is the place from which the reading came out in the month of October. This is the Fornax passage tomb. And there were a lot of really powerful messages that came out from that place. And for you, Spirit is reminding you about the energy and the light and the transition and what it is for a soul to journey, rising from its physical form, having been at rest in the passage tomb and going through the portal to venture out deeply into the universe. That's the message for this month. And Spirit really wants you to focus your attention there. I'm going to toggle back, pardon me, and show you. Look at that. There's your soul at rest, just the way Spirit's been talking about. And there is the sacred bowl in which the remains were placed in these altars. There were 3 altars in each passage tomb. And you see the sacred spiral above the soul's head? Arising from the physical form, going through a portal out into the universe with your back to the physical realm. The sacred bowl of shift and change and abundance, out of which all things come, into which the remains are placed so that the soul can go forward on the day of the solstice. And, it's actually 4 or 5 days either side. I think maybe a total of 6 days. At Newgrange Passage Tomb, the sun comes up over the course of a couple of days. I think it's just shy of a week. When it arises, it illuminates the passageway. And it is that illumination, that energy, that portal, whatever that's all about, a portal of some kind opens. And you are free to cross over as a soul and finish your transition. Okay, so Spirit's asking me to toggle back. Look at that, in light of this message. Isn't that astounding? So, take some time in whatever way you can. Write some poetry, light some candles. Feel free to talk with others about your spiritual journey and how it's been for you. Not in a Spirit saying, it is not the moment to be evangelical. It is the moment to peer deeply into yourself and your process in order to balance this energy and come to a place of harmony in your life. And that act is in and of itself a victory. It's preparation for being able to wield the sword of victory going forward. And that is the sacred journey that is meant for you on the solstice when you go through the passage. So Spirit's asking me to toggle back. So I'm just going to do it one more time, okay? So look at those cards. And we'll talk about the last card in the human realm in a sec. But look. It's bringing tears to my to my throat. I'm getting choked up. All right, so let's talk about this last card. This is another prophecy card. So on the human line, 2 prophecies in Spirit saying, and you can see how the journey is unfolding and what it is meant for. So there's a prophecy about going deep and going through the portal of the solstice with your soul and with your intention, bringing balance and harmony to your inner being so that you can take that energy to a new place inside of you. This last card on the human realm is the augury of skill. It is about taking up the skills that this transition brings to you and bringing them to bear, Spirit is saying, here in your walk, here in the human realm, as you go forward, having made this transition. And, I love that this is kind of youthful. So here's this young male warrior. He's been transformed. He has the same blue garments. I'm going to transition back for a second. You see the blue garments that the warrior in the augury of battle with the sacred sword, you go through the solstice, through the tunnel, out into the world and back in a spiritual journey. And in the return, this is how you sit. This new prophecy about the skills, being able to launch them out into the world. That's the purpose. So that you can take your Spirit saying, your new energy set point, having been refined. That is about sending your energy. And that is your purpose. Your part in the tapestry, Spirit is saying. And so if you see the shining city in the background, Spirit's saying that's the illustration that's being utilized to help you understand your human journey and your part in the tapestry and what that means. All right, so clearly that's a shining city filled with vibrancy and intention and the ability for these intentions to go out open at the will center, open at the heart center, in a youthful, new way. Isn't that astounding, the 2 of these together? I love it. It's a wonderful depiction of things to come. The moment before, I always do it backwards. Okay, so the moment before the solstice, going through those days, those very, very sacred days, arising out of the ceremonial bowl to turn the sacred spiral of your soul destiny by going through this portal. And in so doing, coming through to this new set point, fully aware, Spirit saying, fully informed about your true nature as a being. It's an incredible story. I'm going to toggle back because I want you to look at the cards for a minute in context. And then we're going to take a look at this next card. The card on the left, the next row up, is what Spirit calls the bridge card. That which takes your human journey and helps connect it to what is happening on the spiritual realm. Here it comes. Look at that. Just the center line alone. So on the far left in that top row, that is another major arcana card. And so far in that row, you have 3 major arcana cards, all sitting next to each other. And on the human walk, we see the depiction of the effect of this liberation of devotion and the balance of your energy, bringing you to a place of harmony. And now to the left of that is the Shaper, the Sacred Mother, the second card in the major arcana of this deck. The third card. So this transition, expect it to be very deep. And Spirit's saying, don't give yourself a lot of pressure. just understand that this is what is happening. On some level, you are going to know. You are going to feel it. You are going to desire it. And that is what Spirit is trying to get across, in these moments. All right. So I'm going to toggle back. I'm going to show you the card. Look at that. The beautiful shaper. This is the shaper of growth. So immediately following and connecting your human walk to the spirit realm is the beautiful sacred mother, the triple goddess, who actually literally shepherds souls across from the sacred realm to this realm and back, bringing all the gifts and the bounty and the abundance that will be necessary to shape your growth and development. So that connection, again, Spirit says, wanting to be very clear for you about the deep nature of the effects and the bounty and that which is embodied, if you will, in this transition through the solstice. So let me toggle back for you so you can see all of this in relationship. It's very deep. And then Spirit wants to talk to you again about the passage tomb in a way that's more direct. So, these illustrations, as they sit bonded together, Spirit is saying, in so Spirit's talking about the vertical rows and the horizontal rows, and wanting me to encourage everyone to look at the connections and feel the energy, the pattern, and the evolution that you are walking through, in these days. In these 30-minute readings, it's challenging for me to encapsulate all of this. And as I always say, I could probably talk for 3 hours without a problem about these cards and their relationship to each other and the pattern that you are experiencing. So that is why Spirit is saying, just look into the cards and take some time as we go forward. I'm going to load up the photo. Spirit wants me to show you this again, so 1 second. That's coming out. Spirit just really wants you to feel the energy that came through the passage tomb for me to help me understand so that I could come back and do these readings for you. So, if you haven't seen those readings, I was in the tomb. The readings came out. 3 or 4 readings came from within this passage tomb. Taurus was one of them. When I was done, the wind came by. I was the only one in there. I went in with a friend, actually, who came just to be loving and supportive of me. And when I was done, the wind came by, and there was a heavy iron door, and it literally blew the door open. And we looked up, and that's what we saw. So, it was a moment of epiphany for me about these things that we experience and how deeply they really are connected to our soul walk. Those are the kind of things that our Spirit's chiming through about. These are the cards going forward, talking more deeply about the solstice and the passage and your movement through the tomb. Okay, Spirit's asking me now, hang on a second, to show you this card again. Just to be really clear, in case there's any doubt in your mind, Spirit says, the solstice is very important this year because of the general energy pattern that has been set up, Spirit says, here on the earth through all the eclipses and all the portals and all the powerful cycles of the moon in 2017, which was prophesied to be a year of great shift and change. And so Spirit's talking with me about numerology and understanding even from that prism. Let's see. If you add 2017 together, it makes 10, basically. And then, so that in numerology, and which I know nothing about, Spirit's chattering to me about it in the background. Then eventually what that means is a new start, a new year. And that's why you've had all this liberation, shift, and change. And all these prophecies attached to the movement of your soul here on this plane of existence, because that's where you reside, in order to bring this shift through the change of your own energy pattern. Okay, so let's toggle back. oops, sorry, and show you the spirit walk. Look at that, Taurus. When that came out this morning, it really did, I got very choked up because the message is so beautiful and so direct for you. It's absolutely gorgeous. All right, so the first card on this realm, the Spirit's calling it the spirit realm. All right, I call it the spirit walk. Spirit's saying in the spirit realm, there you are, having come through the solstice, arriving, emerging, Spirit says. This is about, okay, so there's a lot of messaging coming through about the word emergence. So emerging out of the passage tomb. That is exactly what the null passage tomb looks like. Gosh, I wish I had put a picture up. I didn't think of it. Go back to the October reading and check it out. Okay? You'll see. It's there. That is the null passage tomb. It's a small mound. And having emerged from that place, transformed with your power in your hand, Spirit says, see that? Okay, I'm going to toggle back because I want you to see how they're aligned. Do you see that? Shift and change. The left-hand vertical row. There's the prophecy and the shaper of growth that helps you transition from this world to the next and back, and to give you the, that's interesting. Spirit saying the thoughts and feelings, meaning the energy set point, so that when you emerge from the passage tomb on the day of the solstice, when you come through, this is how you emerge. And that is why you had these moments of preparation for this soul journey. The tip of the spear at the sacred spiral, now having the energy and the resources internally to provide, and the dedication, the ethics, and once again, see that? Isn't that amazing? There you are. Spirit says, there you go, and there you are. Meaning, you know, through into the passage tomb for a soul journey, having had your rest there in 2017, while you shift and change and develop and reach your liberation, emerging on the day of the solstice. And this is your stance. That's what Spirit is saying. And, you know, I've talked a lot about yin and yang and male and female. So this is about this energy set point that we would assign to male, meaning impetus to go forward, the power. And certainly Taurus, you know, in a certain way, look at that. I mean, in human form, if we're going to think about the bull in human form, that's pretty good. Spirit saying that's pretty spot on. And the power emanates from within. It's not about the sword. It's about the strength of character and the strength of ability on a spiritual level. Really beautiful. So let's toggle back. You can see the next card. And then I have what Spirit says, and then I have something else to talk with you about. So you remember this card from the last couple of months. This card has come through in so many different ways through these readings. It's very interesting, and this is the second time this is coming out for you. And this is the woman of knowledge. This woman okay, so Spirit's saying three different things. Sorry, let me parse them out for a second. So she is of the spiritual realm. She is there to signify your passage and the way in which you pass through. She is literally picking herbs and flowers for healing from a gravestone. It is a sacred stone of healing. There is someone buried there who is actually related to her. It is her brother who was a sacred healer and brought healing to the King of Battle, which I believe have seen that character in some of your readings. She comes across from the sacred realm. All right, let me show you directly. There she is. You see that? See the light coming across the mounds? Almost reminds me of the passage tombs at Nouth. If you want to see those, some of that journey and you haven't seen it, there's a video on the channel in a playlist about my journey. It's 13 minutes long, and it's just a slideshow essentially set to music about all the different passage tombs. So here she has come across, and she has had her healing, having come through the mystical realm. And now she picks, due to the knowledge, she harvests, Spirit says. And this is what's happening on the spirit realm. You will be harvesting in a sacred feminine perspective. Spirit's talking about the sacred mother again. Elderflowers and herbs and berries meant for healing. And Spirit wants you to look deeply into this card. I'm going to show you the stone that was in the null passage tomb, where your reading came from. It's astounding how similar they are. So she's been through her transformation. She has light about her head. And she is now prepared to take up her place, to bring healing to others. And that is what this journey is about. That is why your energy set point and the transformation and the balancing of the harmony internally has been so important, because that is what you will be doing going forward just as you walk through the earth. This part of the message just been coming through. So you may find something that captures your attention and your energy and takes you in a new direction. However, the primary message that keeps coming through is about just being this energy set point. You've come through a great shift and change and healing. So I'm going to toggle back for a second. I want you to see actually these cards in relationship to each other. So again, for a moment, look at the center vertical line that talks about your soul journey going through the solstice, passing through the portal in order to experience the balancing of harmony within your being, having come through this mystical movement of energy. And Spirit's saying that is a depiction of you in the moments of the solstice and coming out the other side, being able to harvest in your own life the healing that is meant for you by virtue of taking that journey and being here on this plane, here on the earth, in order to shine that light and share it with those around you for the purpose of rebalancing through your own energy set point, just as you walk through the earth. So I'm going to show you this card that was inside, actually sitting just behind me as I was doing the reading in the null passage tomb. This card came out, or not card, sorry, I shouldn't call it a card. I'm tripping on my words. So again, there's this beautiful woman. And here is what was in the altar bowl just above my head. So I was sitting with my back to this altar, and above it was the stone. And it was incredibly beautiful. It was very dark in there, so it was hard to get good photos. I felt really drawn to this particular carving. And so I just stood with it for a while. And I did my best to get a couple of photos. I want to have you, Spirit saying, just look into it so that you understand the depth of this message. So I'm going to transition back. And I want to show you this card, or the depiction of this image. Do you see that? I mean, it really blew my mind. That's the same stone, more or less. And it is the healing that comes to you in this very sacred way through these beings who have been across the divide. You access your healing through the solstice from this place. It's, I mean, who could imagine that that is really the message that was meant to come through my journey so I could bring it home to you for your final, Spirit saying, the final 30 days, essentially, of 2017. To congratulate you, to thank you for your movement, for your shift and change, and for all that you've been doing. It's just incredibly beautiful. So let's talk about this last card on the spirit realm. Having come through, and we've seen this card before. I think we've talked about it before. This is the dialogue of skill. This is a story about Merlin, the sacred magician, who through his journeys not only had his own transformation, his own, Spirit saying, his own sort of death process. And it's what we experience here on the human realm as spirit walkers in this human place. Okay, there's the card. So what's coming through about this card at the moment is, these moments, having had this incredible journey, when spirit can now put its arm around you philosophically and say, hey, all right, now let's talk, because now you understand. You are in complete alignment. You have been balanced. And there's your journey, your human walk, all the things you've been through. Right there in your head, Spirit says, the place where the Celts believed the soul resided. And, depictions of the four directions, the four elements, it's really beautiful. So at some point, Merlin kind of lost his way. And this gentleman, who was a great poet, a wisdom holder, came to seek him out and to help him rebalance and come back to himself in a place of fullness, having gone through this shift and change, so that he could rejoin the collective effort with his, Spirit saying, with his new self. And, the message that's coming through obviously is about having been through the passage tomb, having been through his own solstice, where he had to sort of have a decline and rise back up again. Right? So I'm going to toggle back. I want you to just look into those as this message unfolds so that you can understand the outcome. And Spirit is directing my attention to the warrior of battle, to the top line, right? So, a lot having been said. Coming through the passage tomb and understanding that that is about a great moment of shift and change and healing from a very sacred place, directly in touch with the most sacred part of your human being, because you are a spirit walking in the human form. And so we have to have ways to understand our journey into and out of these energy set points and the purpose of them. And that is the nature of this reading. I'm going to toggle through and show you the outcome card. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? And just as I'm saying it, the sun is bursting through the clouds here. It is an astounding thing to have this in your reading. This is literally, if there ever was a depiction about, reincarnation, etc., there it is. Isn't that astounding? As you reemerge, shape-shifting, Spirit says, in all these ways. There are pieces of knowledge and information about your sacred set point that will be revealed to you at the solstice in order for you to carry them forward into 2018 so that your destiny and the shift and change that you've been through this year can be illuminated for you as we go forward, standing in this place of strength, having been completely transformed. And we don't, in this deck, there are no representations of the bull, so to speak. But, Spirit's saying that's as close as we can get through these illustrations. And that's the message. And Spirit wants you to be just incredibly clear about that, about the light of the solstice and the eons that you have passed back and forth in this way through all these depictions of passage and shift and change and growth and soul liberation and evolution. There's a huge word stream coming through about this experience. And, my job is to just try to stream through the messages that come in the illustrations. So Taurus, I am just filled with wonder in a sense. And that's part of the message that Spirit wants to give to you, is to allow yourself to be emerging from the passage tomb in the full light of the sun, with your being intact and the representation of your energy, so to speak. And you know, so this card, in case you don't know, there's a story about this that has to do with a warrior who lived a long, long time, many lifetimes, many lifetimes, within one incarnation. And that's what the journey of this year has been about for you. There's been a lot of shift and change, and a lot of release, and a deeply shamanistic journey for this purpose. As a being, your shift and your change and your liberation has been very profound this year. And you've worked really hard on a soul level. If you've not followed along, or if you're new to this channel, hopscotch, Spirit says, hopscotch through some of the previous readings when you have some time. You'll understand, because each one of these monthly readings has been building upon each other toward this destiny. And you know, it's been a beautiful revelation for me. It is not what I expected. I started the channel in February, the end of January, February. And there was a lot of information streaming through that caused me to start my YouTube channel. This mysterious transition is a beautiful revelation for me as a channeler as well. And so I'm deeply grateful to everyone who's traveled along with me through these days. It has not been easy. And Taurus, there's been a lot that you've had to contend with. And there you stand, having come through the solstice. So I want to thank you very, very much, and invite you, if at all possible, to be with us on the special reading that's coming about the solstice. It's just going to be a live stream event, and I may make it available. I'll have to sort of figure that out. Spirit says there, you know, as you know, if you've been following along, I've been developing my own skill set on this new venture for myself. So I'm eager to have you there. I would love to have your energy on that day. It will be the 9th of December. I want to make sure to do it before the solstice so the messages can come out. And so I'm inviting as many people as possible to sign up for the subscription and bring your energy so that together on that day we can get this reading out. And I want to have the full tapestry. So if there are any Taurus people out there who haven't signed up for a live stream, please do it right away. We need your presence. That's what Spirit is saying, and especially going forward into 2018. So have a lovely, lovely solstice. Have a wonderful holiday season, and enjoy your New Year celebration. And I'll be back to speak with you well, definitely in the new year, gods and goddesses willing, right? Spirit willing, I'll be here. And definitely on the 9th. So I'm hoping to see you on that day. And if I don't, I'll be thinking of you coming through the solstice, sending all my love and support and gratitude for everything you've done. Thank you so much, Taurus. I'm going to leave you with a picture of the cards so you can just ponder that before you stop the video. Thank you.